Welcome back to more Nova Arcana DevCom with the dev who's doing the com with me. It's Render.
This dance is called the calm. Welcome.
We are about to head into Noir Passage, which connects intersection 3 to not quite intersection 4 just yet, but we'll get there.
That will be too early. This is the black passage because it's very dark. There's lots of black spiders.
So yeah, Noir Passage. Noir, I guess, is French. Verde Passage is Spanish, maybe.
Spanish. Yeah,
And Ballast Passage, or whatever its other name was, is just like, yeah, not. But
I wanted to at first do black in Spanish. Um, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
yeah, it didn't even occur to me. Um,
hmm
so I guess the featured mob here is the Venom Recluse.
hmm
Back in the second area, Brightwater, you had the mushroom zombies who dropped poison potions or something, or damage potions um,
hmm
when you killed them. And so I guess that
Yeah,
was implemented. Was it implemented just like as a potion riding on top of the mob?
correct.
The Venom Recluses have a different mechanic going on, I think, in terms of
Correct.
how they do poison. And so, what's the story with the implementation? Like, why didn't you do the same thing?
It used to be the same thing, and then whenever there's a potion on top of a spider, at least in 1.15, it didn't. The AI of the spider, he could not like see the player for whatever reason.
Ah,
So I had to remove it and basically find a different way to do it. So then I figured, what if I just put an item in one of the slots of the spider, one of the armor slots,
mm-hmm.
and then when you kill him, the item just drops and instantly gets replaced by whatever I wanted to do,
Right.
which also in turn made them more dangerous because it would instantly create the effect cloud instead of waiting
I see. Yeah, it
a
didn't even occur
while.
to me. Like, yeah, when you killed the zombies back in the other area, like you get like a 1 second delay with the potion dropping, and maybe you can collect the soul before the potion effect kicks in.
hmm Yep. So that's the reason why they're
Okay.
why I'm not done with the potion.
I figured
You're
there
actually
was
the
a
first.
reason, but I didn't know.
You're the first player who actually asked about that. Why I didn't do it the other way.
I asked about it specifically because when I was originally trying to help someone with some of the command debugging or whatever in terms of the efficiency, like I accidentally, encountered the Venom Recluse command code, and I was like, "That's weird. He has commands for these guys. Doesn't seem like he needs to since he's done the same effect elsewhere." So that's what made me think about it, is having looked at the command code.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, it made these guys
Mm,
super dangerous in terms of like you had to kill them, but then that just meant you were going to add problems for the environment for a bit. So,
yep.
um,
So it kind of plays in contrast to the Soul Star mechanic where you need to kind of kill them with melee. It's actually better to kill these with an arrow.
right.
And then, yeah, you can't really get the star too well. This is also the point in the map where regular vanilla spawners are actually quite a bit faster and have a higher um, mob floor. There can be more mobs around for it to still
Right. I guess
spawn.
your typical vanilla spawner, like if there's more than four mobs in like, I don't know, an 8 block radius or something, it won't spawn anymore. I don't remember what the
Yes.
actual cap is.
It's six, and most spawners have. All the spawners before this have four, so technically every spawner is a custom spawner in this map. But I basically made it so the spawn is actually a bit nicer in favor of the player.
Okay.
And then later on in the map, I make them harder.
Got it.
Especially blaze spawners. Like every blaze spawner so far, you haven't seen like four blazes jump out of it. And that will change after this.
We had cave spiders to the mix. We've got soul sand, slow the player down.
So yeah, this dungeon is basically a linear path. It consists of 3 rooms back to back to back. And they have an upper part and they have a lower part. And
Okay.
the upper part and lower part kind of connect together.
I remember in
Um,
the Vertigo Mines, I just happened to stumble upon it up here. We found a swarm vendor, and you were talking about people maybe wanting to save it to be able to use it again later. And here it is, another swarm vendor.
there's another one.
The perfect thing for this area.
Hmm.
And I guess we didn't talk about it also, like the Venom Recluse like also has the snowball particle effect going on.
That's to kind of show, hey, I'm a custom mob.
Right.
You're gonna want to watch out for my particles.
Got it.
But you cannot make a spider look different. So I really want to make them different.
Yep.
It's also the same with the speed creepers. They also have like speed particles on them,
Right.
just to make sure that you can actually see the difference.
Is this where the emerald was?
Yes.
This is the one that I got the most spoiled on because I think I did this area like right before I went on Thanksgiving vacation or something like that. I don't remember exactly the circumstances. And was thinking, oh, I'm done with this area. And forgot about the fact that I'd never found an emerald. And so I watched other people and they found the emerald. And I was like, dope.
Hmm.
And I
Yeah,
think this one would have been hard to find without the clue, but I think the clue was helpful.
this one is pretty hard to find without the clue.
Yeah.
I think it was with chest here that's some people found.
Oh, wow. Was it just cobwebs that you just broke?
Yeah.
I see.
Oh, here's spider. So yeah, just some food medium.
There was this chest to entice the player.
It's the level 4 infinizer.
And a trap guarding it.
A trap in a random map?
I know, right? Cave spider spawn eggs.
Yeah, this one is hard to see because of the kind of tripwire on top of cobblestone.
Yeah, it's really hard to see, actually. Yeah, the cobblestone is the perfect noisy texture for it. And yeah, it's well hidden.
And there's light around so it doesn't get triggered, and I made sure no mob could climb up.
Oh, wow. Okay, attention to detail.
Mm-hmm. And if the player made only a one wide walkway and didn't actually make the parts underneath safe, they could get killed here by being knocked off.
Right. Cave spider knocks you down into this nest, and then you're just overwhelmed.
Then you're done for.
And let's see, level 4. I think this was the first level 4 Infernizer. Sharpness 6.
The only one even.
Okay.
This one is pretty nice because of the looting and the sharpness.
Yeah.
Not bad. Maybe a bit underpowered for what normal people would have if they don't die too much.
All right, so I guess that was the first of the 3 rooms you were describing.
Mm-hmm. So this is the second room. Lots of quick spawners. There's a really nice set of armor here. Right over in this little... These are kind of like little spider eggs, or kind of big spider eggs.
Right. Yeah, I was just about to ask about that. I did not realize that, I think, during my own playthrough, but then someone else pointed it out in their playthrough that the spider spawners are always inside these little egg-like structures. And I was like, oh, yeah, spider eggs, okay.
Mm-hmm. This area is mainly inspired by Terraria's kind of little spider biomes that you find in the ground.
Okay.
Kind of with the same block palette and spider stuff hanging around. Kind of wished I did more of that, where you actually had kind of something like this everywhere. Just little kind of lampposts, or just spider thingies hanging around.
I see. And yeah,
my
in
opinion.
Calamity Canyon, I guess you also use the End Stone, which has, I don't know, it's got kind of just a moldy looking color that kind of like makes you think of spiders, maybe somehow.
Yeah, it's kind of bubbly and kind of alien looking. So it kind of fits the giant spider here. Giant spider theme. Not
Um,
this time.
and yeah, I
Mm,
guess like if you want to be super risky and not go for trying to find all the loot, you could probably just try to stay up on top on the rail line and avoid the mobs. But I think I only saw one person like try to do that for part of the area, and it didn't necessarily go well for them.
yeah, it's the best idea to kind of make everything safe in this area because otherwise you're gonna keep getting pestered by everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty straightforward room. There's just right over here. There's another creeper drop, kind of like in the bygone mines, kind of the same setup,
Right.
but then with some lapis on top as a little reward.
I don't think I found that, and I don't know if a creeper actually fell on my head there, so I might have gotten lucky.
Mm-hmm. And we continue on to the third room after this short intermission. At least if you fall down with this
Boing. Boing. I shouldn't have boinged. Because now there's a bunch of creepers. Super creepers.
Mm-hmm.
Good luck.
They're just scare creepers.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So what? How does that work in terms of like commands or different things, like or
Um.
NBT?
So with custom mobs, with the custom creepers, you can make them either you can select their power. That's either a 0 or 1, so a true or false.
Okay.
You can put in a timer fuse, which
Right.
is just a number, and the normal is 30, which is 1.5 seconds.
Okay.
And I basically put it on something like 200, so 10 seconds, or maybe 100, so 5 seconds.
Okay.
And then there's a third tag, which is blast power or blast radius, which normally is free, and one is so free is basically normal creeper blast.
Uh-huh.
0 is no damage, and 1 is basically a gassed fireball.
Okay.
And if it's powered, then that value is basically done times 2 when he blows up.
Okay.
So I basically put it on 0, and then yeah, they do no damage and are just troll creepers.
I see. Well, I did not know that they were zeros. And yeah, I guess I dug down here or did something to get down here and discovered they were here and went away and despawned them and then rushed back in and lit the place up and felt very clever. And then I was rewarded with tacos
Tacos and a diamond
and a
pickaxe.
diamond pickaxe, which is actually quite good. So thank you.
That's the nice thing about the troll creepers, that if you do not discover they're actually super creepers, TM, then then you can actually still feel satisfied, even though you probably shouldn't, because they're just troll creepers. And then we go up. And then this is my favorite thing: when you go up, you just get suffocated.
I mean, if you had ladders below you, like, yeah, does the falling stuff break on ladders now, or is it only on?
Uh, no, they don't break on
Okay,
a ladder.
so I guess you'd
They
have to
used
put down a
to, right?
torch or something.
No, I don't think they ever did.
Okay, I guess it's just signs and torches,
Yeah, and
or
fences,
slabs. Okay,
slabs, torches, fences.
maybe I saw it falling and put down a torch or something. I don't remember struggling with that.
Hmm. It's just a little scary trap, I guess. Or not necessarily a trap, but just...
I should also note that it was a little bit worrisome that there was all this rail line out here. Because it was going to be like, oh gosh, am I going to have to connect all this rail? And then intersection 4 is going to be 100 million miles away. I definitely almost suffocated to death. Okay, I probably just put it out of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
My memory is that I had no trouble at all. There were cave spider spawners like right underneath the bridge here, which were tricksy. I did not notice them originally.
Tricksy map maker being mean, putting cave spider spawners. There's a lot of mobs in this third final room, which is kind of like the if we go back to the excitement curve from earlier, then this is kind of like the top of the curve. I always put it at the end, right before you get the record. Just put a big room that's kind of more difficult.
Okay.
And your reward for actually clearing everything out is an advanced endurance charm. Woo!
Which is the +6 hearts or something? Or +6 health, +3 hearts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Good charm. I wore it a bit at the end of the map.
Pretty good. And then you get from the super noisy spider area into completely silent land. And heavy contrast to kind of make the player feel a bit nervous.
Noir Passage to the Lonely Dark.
Lonely dark. I wonder why the dark is so lonely.
If you did ride a minecart off of this, do you not take any fall damage because you bounce here? You go exactly straight down and you land on top of the minecart rail that's down here?
Yeah, I don't think you take any damage in general. So
Okay.
I can also, I think I can do... Look. Oh.
Sorry.
It'll basically go up and then fall back down in a few. So yeah, there's basically nothing kind of here to attack the player except for the cave spider.
Right, there was the spawner underneath down here. And yeah, it was quiet enough in this area that I guess I did go and look at the biome, and I guess this is a place that we're in the void biome, yeah. Which explains the lack of mobs. I think there was an Enderman that had teleported in here maybe, and that was all I encountered.
I tried to really make this kind of contrasting to the last one with the sounds.
Right?
And then also give kind of a bit of a respite after going through an area which had no kind of goal, objective
Right.
thing at the end. I think that's important, just give a moment of silence for people to catch their breath. And then you will get into the weird blue stuff.
Yep.
Kind of signal, hey, we're going into something different. And it's like, oh, mushrooms. And then, what's that mob over there?
It's the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
It's hideous. Oh, who designed such a thing? So these guys are pretty difficult because they have like 60 health, also really fast, and they're basically kind of my way of trickling in some stronger mobs in between other more standard vanilla mobs to kind of make fighting a bit more interesting.
Right.
You always have like one stronger mob and then multiple smaller mobs around it.
Right. And it also, I feel like, kind of made this an effective gate for people that's like, you should be well prepared to come into this area because this is the type of thing you might be up against.
Yeah, I tried to put this first one alone just so you could really get an idea of, hey, these guys are
Yeah, we talked about that in, like one of your previous maps or whatever, when you introduce a new mob that's kind of out of the ordinary, basically trying to get the player to get a chance to be familiar with it before you just mix it in with everything else.
Mm-hmm. So these are drowns, just with reskinned. Um, One of the things with drowns is that they have weird abilities to see the player, if that makes sense. They only aggro the player if it's either nighttime or the player is in water.
Oh, I did not know that. Okay.
They also have weird spawning capabilities. They only spawn in water biomes, so in ocean, except for the warm ocean for some reason. They also spawn in rivers. Actually, that's only bedrock version, I think. And only from Y0 to Y64 for some reason as well. So I had to basically make them spawn this baby zombie, which has these guys right on top of them.
I see.
So when they spawn, you see kind of a puff of smoke, which is the baby zombie kind of dying. So you will see it probably happen in a bit.
Okay, that's interesting. Oh, yeah, now I do see the puff of smoke. Okay. I had never
Yeah.
actually noticed it before. And
So
I
yeah, the
didn't know
baby
there were weird
zombie is.
mechanics that you had to do that kind of trickery.
Hmm.
But yeah, I guess that's the standard thing. Basically, if mob X doesn't spawn here, or mob X doesn't spawn on these blocks, then spawn mob Y and have mob X riding it.
Uh-huh. And then make mob X silent and have wither and 1 health. Yeah.
Neat.
Um, these mobs, if I quickly stab one, they are pretty good for farming XP because
Yeah, the
they drop
bottles.
8 experience bottles. They drop a gold ingot, and they can also rarely drop the head, which is a pretty good kind of diamond helmet alternative.
I actually, yeah, didn't have room in my inventory, so I just destroyed it. But
Oh, okay.
um, I don't know that I ever got one. I think I did see No Leaf Clover was wearing one in his playthrough.
Yeah, here's another one.
Oops.
Can quickly pick it up, I guess. Drink.
Blast Protection 4, Respiration 5, Aqua Affinity 3, Luck of the Sea 1. Does Luck of the Sea on a helmet actually affect your fishing at all?
No.
Okay. So it's just a silly enchant.
Mm-hmm. And then it's basically a diamond helmet without any armor toughness, but it has the knockback resistance.
Oh, yeah. I guess, yeah, reading the +1 knockback resistance, reading those details is important.
Yeah, that's always people don't really look at that, even though I can mess with that. I might add like lore text if I change that for like normal armor.
Right, right.
Say I have colored leather armor that actually is like iron armor, then I should put a lore text saying, "Hey, this armor has increased durability, increased defensive capabilities or whatever." Yeah, then you continue on the path, and there's like broken rail lines, so you kind of get to the end of the mine section. Kind of still ties in with the previous theme.
Right.
And then you find another new mob, kind of
The witches.
the witches of.
Which, yeah, you're saying another new mob. Tell me about exactly what are the properties of these witches.
These witches have a lot of health and are also really fast. So I kind of just wanted to make people notice just how fast and how much health they have by just showing them on their own.
I see.
So that's kind of good to know.
I don't think I noticed. Everybody else noticed. But basically, yeah, I think my behavior when I see a witch is run away, get my bow and arrow, and just fire at them. And so I think I treated those witches like every other witch, and as a result, like never quite appreciated. Like, I did see that they were moving fast, but witches kind of sprint around kind of fast, weirdly sometimes anyway. And yeah,
Hmm.
it's just kind of funny.
Yeah, that's pretty. That's smart actually to just take the witches like such a threat always, because witches can easily be dealt with arrows.
And yeah,
This is
I mean, just the
really
fact that they can heal themselves, like, that makes them one of the only mobs that you really need to. You need to step back and focus fire to make sure you knock them out because you can't just, whittle them down and then hit some other mobs in between.
hmm. So, the kind of a contrasting part of the earlier areas, except for the nether area, is that you can actually, is that a big part of the area is actually not rendered when you kind of start in the
Oh, so you've actually got the fog in the distance and it almost looks like a sky or whatever, as opposed to.
So yeah, so this is the first big area that is just really big and should kind of give off a different vibe in that regard. Like this is kind of where the map changes from enclosed areas to more open, bigger areas.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping people would kind of notice that. So this area in general is kind of based upon the kind of the deep, dark, really, yeah, just deep, dark caves with like bioluminescent plants and stuff. And also, have you ever played Don't Starve? They have some cool glowing mushroom caves in that game as well.
I've rarely gone into the caves and Don't Starve. Yeah. So I'll have to do that more.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I guess the caves used to be kind of worthless as well.
And
Now there's a
scary. I don't know. That whole game is kind of. Don't Starve is a game that, I mean, I got better at it at some point and it got not as bad, but is one of those games that, like, I always feel like I'm under constant time pressure to be doing something, and so quitting the game is a very relaxing experience.
yes, I can actually completely agree with that because
Yeah.
it's
And so I
you
think
need
that's
to
one
be
of the
calm
reasons I
and
never like
play.
got super into it.
Hmm.
So the first time I came over here, I guess like I'd been standing on the other side over here, maybe like firing at some witches or something for a while. Um, and there were a gazillion mobs.
That happens to almost anyone because I just put it around the corner of
Yep.
this little like little ledge in between just to make sure it has its time to spawn.
So yeah, the actual fun box, and I guess this one has what's the middle one?
The middle one's an Enderman, and
Okay.
there's two skeletons in the corner, and two zombies in the corner, and then two spiders and two creepers, like a normal one.
Yeah. So yeah,
Um,
tons of mobs.
mhm. And then you have Enderman spawners. Enderman spawners. Enderman spawners are kind of broken in this version. If you play this on single play, you might have seen that it's just constantly spitting out error logs because of Enderman spawners.
Interesting.
It's kind of bad. And then just one of the stronger mobs again. And
So
then
it's
to
a
your left.
shame that I didn't know much about new Minecraft stuff or whatever to realize that this looks like a netherite block. Because I just saw some weird block over here. And yeah, I think people in my chat like finally told me or something. Um, but yeah, it would have been a better
Didn't-
gag.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's actually War who also was told by chat, hey, that's a netherite block, it's really good. And then started to break it. I think it happened the other way around for you, right?
I see. And yeah, once again, well hidden. Did a good job with your tripwires.
Mm-hmm. And as you can see, I put it on a too high ledge.
So
And
nobody
there's
can
another
climb up
corner.
there. Yep.
Hmm.
And so I should realize that in terms of like ways to be keyed in. Lots of light, too high gap. Um, that is render signaling. There's a tripwire trap here, and that's how he's protecting it from being set off early.
Hmm. Well, this one is not that dangerous because there's only two
Yeah.
cave spiders. I like this one. Basically, reusing the diamond ore trick.
From the Cash or Crash.
Hmm. These item frames are actually inside the map itself.
Oh, so like we go to the ceiling somewhere and see that there are just actual maps as opposed to just some kind of like custom data that you put in.
Yes, they're 3D even
I see. Yeah.
because of staircasing is what it's called.
Right. Basically, the way
Um,
that the slightly lighter and slightly darker version of the various pixels are.
Precisely. I could quickly actually fly towards it, and then you can TP to me in a bit. And I'm there. So it's actually kind of interesting to look at. It's all the way on the south of the map. Ah, okay, I'm here, so you
Okay.
can TP to me. So this is the netherite one,
I see.
pink one, and the pink blocks are the. That's I guess the gray one. Yeah, that's the gray terracotta. And so this is basically how this one looks. And then the one on the left is actually the diamond ore,
I see.
the white with blue one.
So yeah, when I was doing the bingo map or whatever, like I didn't have as much vertical space to work with for doing all the staircasing stuff. Um, and so I had to kind of pick and choose how much I was going to use vertical
Hmm.
space in order to try to get things as kind of nicely colored as I wanted to versus, um, yeah, just having to get a few things going like that. But I think I decided basically I was only going to use up to four, or did I? I might have only gone like two steps up in terms of like vertical space.
Yeah, I think you had one block on top of the actual flat plane. That's
Right.
what you did.
Because it was also then it was going to have to, yeah, clone the structure and different things or whatever. But this is, it feels like it's really big. And so was this like the map is like scaled out, like at 2 to 1 or 4 to 1 or something kind of thing?
No, this is 128 by 128 blocks, and
Okay.
that's how big a map is as well. So it's one by
Oh,
one.
right. Yeah.
I always think maps are 64 by 64, but they aren't.
Yeah.
And then I guess I can quickly fly back.
Sounds good.
Mm, at first, the whole map that's like above the actual map, like the flat thing on top,
Right.
that used to be also staircased. Its own staircased thing.
Uh-huh.
Because I first use a rendering tool to
Okay.
kind of just get an image, and then I basically ported it in via a program that changes your image into a map file with
Right.
staircase.
Got it.
And that looked really weird and big. And in the end, it actually didn't work out, so I kind of just made it a flat image on top of the map.
Yeah. The flat image is better. And also like, yeah, you can't afford to give up, you know, 50, 50 spaces of Y in one of your maps.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So at the same time, while you're actually kind of like toying around with this small trap and the item frames,
On the
on the left and
outside,
right, there is some creeper spawners.
and I think there were like two on each side, maybe three.
right? 2. Il correcto.
And then I don't know how intentional it was or whatever, but also, you get here and you kind of turn around, and this kind of causes you to be looking back on the area. And I think maybe from looking back here is maybe where I first spotted something over in this direction.
Uh-huh. That's completely intentional.
All right.
Make the player turn around and then notice, oh hey, there's a diamond over there. So
How
let's
do I
go
get
this
to
way
them?
first. And there's a ledge. And people also look down and notice there's pure blackness. It must be void.
Because we've forgotten what void actually looks like in maps, which
Uh-huh.
is not pure blackness.
When it's completely night out, it will be pure blackness.
Oh, it will? Okay.
Yeah.
But
It's not.
what time of day is it actually in this map? I don't remember if
It's
we talked.
kind of like, if you look to that side, it's kind of like evening.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I kind of switch the time whenever the player enters the Lonely Dark, or whenever there's a player in the Lonely Dark, the time actually gets put to evening. And if all players are kind of before it, then it's just normal day with rain.
I see.
Just for kind of the fog effects, because I like fog in
I see.
specific colors.
So yeah, I did not choose to attack this area from this direction. And yeah, it would be difficult. It would be difficult from any direction, honestly. There's a lot of difficult mobs here with the witches, and there's blazes up higher.
It can be relatively trivial, but yeah, I try to at least put a little bit of a challenge around it.
I mean, yeah, the reward is great. So there should be some challenge. And so you've got multiple damage over time enemies with the witches and their poison and the blazes and their fire.
And some very hard-hitting mobs with the supercharged creepers.
Right.
And then I put in the light blue terracotta to kind of make the light blue of the diamonds just a bit or more obvious.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing you did with the blue concrete powder, with the lapis, and with the granite, with the iron. Yeah, I like that a lot, just in terms of, again, for me, like I often don't see in the wall over there under low lighting something popping out, and so it just makes it more obvious without having to, put 10,000 diamonds in the map at one area.
Yep. Well, I tried a lot of different combinations, like packed ice as well.
I see.
So if you find a random packed ice block in between diamonds, then I didn't replace that.
You forgot to swap it out. Yeah, the
Yeah, that
terracotta
happened.
looked a little bit weird, but because it's such a noisy pattern or whatever, but yeah, it fit perfectly well.
It kind of feels like a diamondy or crystally pattern to
Yeah,
me.
it's got kind of the triangular sharp edges in its pattern or something that feels kind of diamondy.
Yeah.
Can you place them at different orientations, or do they always...
Yes, so it's basically whichever way you're looking.
I see.
So
Okay.
if I look this way, they always go this way, and if
Got
I
it.
look that way, they always go that way.
How picky
So,
were you when you placed them among the diamonds?
um, I think I literally just replaced all of them randomly equally
Got
with
it.
the 4 colors,
Okay.
the 4 sides. But that might be a lie. We can see in a bit. I might misremember. Because there's one on the other side as well.
Right. So you come down here, and then there was this bridge that was kind of like the only way, quote unquote, to go. It was broken bridge. There were blazes.
So this is probably where people will notice how quick spawners now are, because display spawner will most likely spawn a second time you get to it. And it will also spawn more than 2 blazes. Spawns 4.
Yeah, and that was enough to definitely, yeah, keep the player kind of busy. I think I saw multiple players end up with kind of multiple spawn cycles just trying to get through this.
It's the danger of normal blaze spawners. They can just generate too many blazes.
While we are here, if we look to our right, there is a giant lava waterfall, lava fall, whatever.
And I know what you're about to say.
I went to the top of it because it seemed like the place that you would put something at the top of it, and it's hard to complain about such details in one of your maps because there's a gazillion places to hide things, and you tend to hide them in almost all of the gazillion. But yeah,
Almost.
yeah, but almost.
Yeah, not this
It
one.
was really high up to go, and there was nothing there, as I recall.
Yeah, when you went up there, I was like, no, don't! There's only sadness up there. Don't go.
At least I had scaffolding.
At least you had scaffolding, yeah. And which in turn made you not go to any of the other ones, which did have some.
Oh, I see. So is that just for looks, like just in terms of like lighting up the area or the aesthetic, or?
Yeah, it's also kind of a beacon of, hey, look, there's something here, and then you see kind of the diamond.
Okay, well, yeah, I didn't see that. I saw that. Okay.
Kind to draw the people's attention.
Yeah.
These blazes can go away.
So where are they coming from right now? Is it just this one spawner? Yeah, okay, they really are. Okay, spawner,
We
you
didn't
need to go.
destroy the spawner.
Yeah.
That explains it. But we destroyed it.
And since I never did it, like I'm also curious to fall down to the bottom and see what the bottom is actually like.
Okay. So what the bottom is like? It's there's black concrete with
Okay.
a layer of barriers on top.
Ah,
And
that's
if
what
the
I saw.
player is at y equals 3 and in the lonely dark, or at least the big cave part,
Right?
and on top of a barrier and in survival mode, then the player gets blindness and dies. And
Oh,
he gets
interesting.
blindness and wither. So it is
Interesting.
kind of like
It's like the void, but your totem still works, basically.
yeah. And mobs don't get affected by it.
And so if I
Yeah, you
had
can
fallen
restore.
down there and somehow survived the fall, but then died, can I see the totem? Oh, you already stood on your totem.
Oh yeah, let
Yeah,
me
can you
just...
die again, please? Sorry.
Could you die again, please?
Yeah, okay. You can still see it down there. All right, that's cool. That's a nice way to
Oh boy, I'm gonna die now.
be like the void without being the void.
And I need to grab my potions or my stuff. If you I wish I made this more clear. If you actually have night vision
Uh-huh.
and you look at the kind of the last few layers before it actually goes into the blackness,
Right.
you kind of stand higher up. It actually looks like the actual pillars go kind of fade into the darkness.
Yep. Darker color, darker color, darker color, black.
Which is what I really love. That kind of came from, that was inspired by an area called the Forest Naval in the original Pikmin game for the Nintendo GameCube. A pretty fun game. Where it had like a dark cliff where the cliff slowly faded into the blackness down
Right.
below.
Yeah, without the night vision, though, I have no chance of seeing it.
Kind of a shame. I might reuse it somewhere where you could see it.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Wouldn't be quite the same effect if it was like a floating island somewhere. Yeah, I'm not sure.
What is... Oh, you are. Gone. This guy's gone. And then this is where you find... Oh,
Trident guy.
Trident guy number 2. I don't see him. Oh,
There he is.
Yeah, so you basically instantly learn, okay, this is a ranged guy. That is mean.
Yeah, he's
Like
tough.
putting him on the other side of the bridge. Yeah, this is basically the main guy you want to avoid.
And he would make many appearances for the rest of the map.
Mm-hmm. And probably future maps as well.
But yeah, it's a very effective ranged mob. That's nice to mix things up from skeletons and blazes.
Mm-hmm. And also to finally get tridents into the map. Because I never really used them on enemies.
And I guess you obviously had, the Mini Ripper and the Mega Ripper and the Omega Ripper. Was there any chance that these guys would drop it, or?
There... I'm not sure. I can quickly... I think there is a small chance that they can drop it. Actually, no, I'm lying. There is no chance they
Okay.
can drop it.
I think it's actually might be better that there's no chance that they drop it, but yeah, I hadn't really thought about it till just now.
Mm-hmm. I don't remember my reasoning. Probably because they're normal tridents and not enchanted ones. So I didn't really want to make them too... Because normal tridents are kind of useless. If they
Right.
don't have loyalty.
Right. Yeah, I feel like the ones you handed out, you handed out enough of them that players are likely to have some, and they have the enchants that the players would want on them. So, yeah.
Although the sharpness you could technically not put on there, so they're kind of stronger variants that you would normally get in vanilla.
I see. Yeah, I don't know enough about
There's-
using them in vanilla.
There is one enchantment for it. It's called I think no, not Riptide. Channeling. Impaling is the enchantment,
Uh-huh.
but it only affects water mobs, so it's kind of useless in CTMs.
Huh.
So I just figured I would put sharpness on it
I
instead,
see.
which for some reason works even when throwing it.
I may have seen the diamonds over here, but after I got the big vein of diamonds at the outset or whatever, I was set on diamonds for a while. And so I think I didn't start coming to all the other places that I saw diamonds.
Mm-hmm. The big amount of diamonds from here on out is mainly for multiplayer and basically raising the minimum amount of gear you can fall back upon if you die 20 times in a row.
Right. Yep.
Especially when we get to the intersection.
Yep, which is very good. Yeah, I liked handing out this much.
Mm-hmm. It's good game design for players who die a lot. Like, a lot. I believe there's actually an extra bonus chest if we go back a bit. To, I guess, front a bit. Forward a bit.
Sorry. Should I teleport to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, if we go up to the ledge. Up.
Oh.
This is not the best loot, but some people have found this. It's a little chest here. With some protection 4 gear.
I see,
Which,
miracle
if you
armor.
don't-
Is this the gold stuff?
If you don't make it, if you don't make any diamond armor, this is still pretty decent.
Got it. Yeah, if you're a speedrunner, this could effectively help you get through part of an area or something, for example.
Uh-huh.
Was there a particular queue to bring people up here? There's kind of these glowing mushroom trees kind of all around. Other than the glowing mushroom trees, was there something else that would draw the player up in that direction?
So the cyan floor is meant to queue it off because the cyan floor is always
Got it.
and kind of trickles up into it.
Got it. Yep, okay. I figured there would be some kind of cue, but I did not, my eyes did not call it out.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, basically if you went that way, that ended with various resources, and if you went this way, you started approaching a giant building.
Castle. Doom. And behind the castle, or at least the first tower,
Mm-hmm.
coal. Or if you still needed it, because you're kind of far in.
I see. That's nice. I never walked around here. I can't remember if I saw other people walk around here. It's too bad because there's actually a really good vantage point of what's coming up out here. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, this would make another good like map screenshot, and maybe this was in the spoiler thread on the forums or something.
Yeah, I did make a custom image on with like a render.
Mm-hmm.
That's one of the promotional screenshots that I put for on Twitter, at least.
Yep.
So yeah, because this is probably one of the best kind of promotional screenshots
Yeah.
from here.
It looks it looks awesome from here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also just the ceiling, like with all of the very imposing stalactites that just kind of you get bits and pieces of them kind of like peeking down through the fog.
Oh yeah. So the
It's almost like teeth.
oh yeah, they do. The actual stalactites and stalagmites. This is basically the whole cavern. Is actually made with world painter.
Uh-huh.
And world paint you can normally only do you can only kind of paint the height of a surface. You cannot do underground stuff. But what I did is I painted one side of the underground part. See, if we fly off, you can probably see it.
Okay.
Um, and then I basically made another the roof part. I also painted on its own, and that's where all the spikes are. So this so the floor one is kind of flat at the on the bottom, and the ceiling one is spiky on top. And then at the edges, it kind of just goes up. And then if I paste the two together, it kind of does this weird hamburger effect. And kind of where you see I'm flying right now, if you with the night vision, you can
Uh-huh.
see that it kind of has a hard seam in between. Oh wait, you probably don't. Yeah, see me? I don't
I
know if it's kind of
I'm not
easy to
sure that I see
see.
the seam that you're talking about.
It's mainly just in the shape. Let me kind of grab some glowstone, I guess.
Okay.
Kind of right here. It kind of just merges together.
Okay.
So there's kind of a seam going on. And it goes up here.
Yeah, these are things that definitely I would never notice or appreciate at all until someone who's done a lot of this stuff is pointing it out to me.
Hmm. So you can kind of see how I basically stuck them together, and that's how I got a big cave like this. The
I
whole
see.
cave is about 1,000 by 1,000, maybe a bit bigger even. So it's pretty big.
And then since we're kind of like standing out here to where you can see some of the faraway islands, like
Hmm.
in terms of design rationale, like did you think about the trade-offs between one having just the visual effect of being able to see more islands off in the distance versus the other of players possibly trying to go there and I presume being disappointed? Like I imagine there's nothing out there, but
Yes, and I try to just make sure that once the player gets to a few, that he gets disappointed enough that he won't continue,
okay.
even though there is something in one of the corners. Actually, in 2 coins there's something, but it's more Easter egg like.
Right. Yeah, I heard there's almost like a bonus area somewhere out there or something.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the scrapped dungeons that I actually did make. Um, this might be a good time to
Yeah,
cut
I was
the
just thinking,
episode.
yeah, before we actually enter any of the kind of structure castle proper, it's probably a good time to cut another YouTube episode. Call it a day.
Mm-hmm. So, to you all folks, to all you folks at home, thanks for watching. Uh,
Thanks for
guess we'll see you in
commentating.
the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you next
Goodbye.
time and continue into this crazy, gigantic area.
Mm-hmm. Thank you for commentating as well, co-host
Woo!
Lord 11, Mr. Brian, the man himself.
That's right. All right, see you guys next time.
See you.